God, who is this?
Hey everybody, welcome again to the weekly aftermath. We are back after about a year's break, but we're back here to recap some of the amazing college sports and everything happening in the AVGL. I'm your host, Hitch. Oh man, it's so good to be back. Everybody with me today, I've got Mr. J Mac Tucker. How you doing, man? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people who don't know.
Doing good. My name is J Mac Tucker. I am one of the casters for the Smite division here at the AVGL, and I'm happy to be back for my third season alongside the AVGL.
Hell yes. Also joining us today is Mr. Cameron Davis from CSGO. How you doing, man? Let the people know.
Hi, I'm doing great. Cameron Davis, and I cast CSGO. That's everything.
Man, I love it. Quick, efficient, out of the way. And then, of course, returning Mr. Pythian Legume for Dota 2. How you doing, man?
Hi, I'm glad to have something to do. Filling my days other than being a hobo. So like just hanging out here. Happy to be
Congratulations.
here, and yeah, it's good to have something other than like sitting on the street asking for a change all the time. So thanks for having me, guys.
What can I say? You got the look down, man. You're down pat.
Didn't have time to change. It's just what we got going here.
It's okay. Not all of us can. No. All right. So let's first things first. Let's recap the game. See how it's doing. Let's start with Mr. J Mac. How's the Smite League going? Anything to keep track of? What's going on with Smite?
Smite League's going well. We just had our first round of matches this past Saturday. We're going to have another round of them tomorrow night at 7 Eastern. But games that we streamed, we featured DePaul University against St. Lawrence College. DePaul University had a 2-0 victory over them, and a very commanding victory, if anything else. And our other match that we streamed was St. Joseph's University against the University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth. Another 2-0 victory, that time in favor of St. Joseph's, who has one of our former runner-up players, Mojo Cat, as the captain of that. He was formerly on Node's Gaming back in Season 2, but he split from that team, made his own new team, and so far is doing pretty well for himself.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember Mojo Cat. He kicked ass, so that's kind of cool to see him back in the league. Let's see what's going on with CSGO, Cameron.
So, yeah, like once again, same as Smite, we've only had 1 week of play so far. And the one that we actually had on broadcast was a ridiculous game between Georgia Tech's B team. Georgia Tech actually has 2 teams in AVGL this time around, instead of their one team that they had last semester and the one team that they've kind of been sharing in other collegiate leagues. Now they have enough players to make 2 of them. Nonetheless, it was them versus University of Kentucky, and after a pretty big lead that they had on Mirage, Kentucky came back with a I'm trying to find the exact number with, I think it was a 9-round streak to win the game 16-14, and then just completely like smashed them on Nuke as well. And so what looked to be Georgia Tech running away with it on the first map turned around and it was a quick 2-0 for University of Kentucky. So that game was just a monster to watch.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the replays on that one. That sounds awesome. So Kentucky State, something to watch.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with them right now, but they came in and made a really impressive first showing on their first game. So,
and who knows, maybe we'll get to see Georgia v. Georgia.
Yeah, they're in the same group actually.
Oh hell yes! All right, Pythian, take us through some Dota 2.
Well, we had our first weekend of matches it started on Friday. We had a couple of stragglers coming in there. We saw a couple of returning teams, and the first weekend wasn't really too much trouble. We had a lot of 2-0s. I think only one ended up going to a 2-1, and that was actually a situation where a team lost the first match, and then they kind of figured out their drafting. I think that was the University of Montreal that came back with a 2-1. To be able to take that series back, and their carry player had a pretty spectacular series of games there. I mean, even in the first one where they lost, he did pretty well. It was just not really the right hero for him, but it was nice to be able to see one team be able to come back from a 1-0 and actually take our only 3-game series of the weekend. So it was a lot of fun to see, and I hope that we're going to see even more of this top Dota 2 action in the coming weeks.
Oh yes, that's one of my favorite parts about watching Dota is when the teams can adapt their strategy and then just take it beyond the others. That's why, some of the top teams, they're the best at doing that. That was always, when your drafter can get ahead of theirs and then you got the play to back it up. That's the best part of Dota, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Kick ass. And then since we don't have anybody representing Paladins today, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys through that. There's been 2 weeks of Paladins so far, and some teams still remain undefeated. In the Jaguar Falls division, we have Davenport University is still 2-0. Same with University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign? Champaign. I knew that. And then the Serpent Beach. So close. So close. Serpent Beach League, we've got Stony Brook University and Rowan University going 2-0. We actually have 3 teams in the Frozen Guard League. It's the Georgia Mason University and Mississippi State University, along with Concordia University, and only one in the Stone Keep at Clark College. So those are all teams to keep an eye on. Paladins, of course, is a kind of a newer up-and-coming esport as compared to the rest of them that we've got. And so if you haven't seen it, go check out their channel. We're big fans of High Res and everything they do, and you got to check it out, especially if you like Overwatch or if you just like team-based shooters and haven't done one in a while. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. All right, and with that, I think we're going to go right into our top plays of the week.
Fight does take a core, puts it at 2v2. Doesn't check the corner, assumes only one person's at CT, and with the timer, Exposure has no choice.
87+%. The Throner trying to get himself on point, but he's essentially by himself as there's been no real commit. Jake B's jumping in as well. They're able to find a couple of kills. No, just kidding. Fire finds himself a double. Ethereal finds himself 2 as well.
This time going to be on the Zing Jester instead of going for that Thaw. And now with Tears standing in between all of these members, it's only a matter of time before they burst him down. The heal going to be good though, and this Tier 2 might cause some deterring, but no, Zotrain is going to go in and they are looking for blood.
Zotrain doesn't care. He's going to keep progressing, but it's going to be a 2-man Fearless against the tower, and King Twist looks like he may pick up 1 here. Paradox is going to fall. Zotrain's going to be forced to run away.
Drop an HG, does that even go to the corner? It does not. Pound didn't take any damage for that because he does trade that kill off Exposure. Gonna tap the bomb. He knows Chris is in that corner, at least hoping so. Has a defuse kit, but is there going to be enough time?
He's got it.
Oh, just barely.
Damage. Risha dropping low, but RDD, and it's a 2-man stun onto Needle and Karibo. Needle's gonna drop to the I don't remember what that really is called. Fateful. Karibo already sitting pretty low. There's gonna be the buyback by Needle. The root is gonna be there as well. Looking for the death ward. He is gonna find it. Not doing a whole lot of damage. RDD gonna stop that in his tracks. Can jam.
They take out one, and then the last person is Palace. Pound's trying to take that fight while his teammate gets the defuse. Oh, Pound pushes out, gets one, stops the defuse. It is gonna be fake. It's a little bit of damage, fakes it a second time. But Pion, with 13 health, just pushes out.
Lawrence, they get that completely for free, extending their lead even further, as now we see Paradox come crashing down. Kraken gonna be able to connect. Zing Jester gonna fall. We're going to see Thoth next, and then Kepri, and they're continuing the chase. Cupid looking like he is the next one on the target. Paradox taking a lot of damage from the minions, might fall down to the Phoenix. The shot, not enough damage from that, but he's gonna get out with the skin of his teeth, picking up 3 kills.
That was your AVGL top plays of the week. We hope you enjoyed them. They are freaking awesome. We're really, really great to have such talented players pulling off some amazing things. That tier move, holy crap. 2v1, never an easy thing. And with that, let's go to our school club / LAN event of this week. That's going to be the California State University of Long Beach, and they're hosting their annual BeachCon esports event this weekend. That's March 4th and 5th, in case you're watching a replay. And this event features a bring your own computer. It's a free LAN collegiate meetup opportunity as well. You got an esports tournament, SoundCloud keyboard artisan meetup, which is just freaking cool. I've never even gotten to go to any of those. They're going to have an artist alley, cosplay contests, live gaming demos, and big seller, food trucks are going to be there.
Food trucks best.
And then a CS:GO LAN tournament sponsored by the AVGL. That's right. We're going to have some people out there helping out with the fun. This is their 12th year hosting this event, and they're expecting over 800 attendees. So don't think it's going to be one of those show up, see 12 nerds in a basement with some computers. This is a huge event. There's going to be tons of prizes, giveaways, and you can learn all about it at beachcon.org. Oh, and did I mention it's freaking free? You can buy a ticket, make a donation that'll go to the Children's Hospital of Orange County and Anxiety Gaming. So you have literally no reason not to go unless you don't live anywhere near it. So go check that out this weekend. That's our featured school club / LAN event of the week, the California State University at Long Beach and BeachCon. It's beachcon.org. All right. And that takes us into our very own news segment. To cover some Dota 2 news, we got Pythian Legume. What's going on with the Kiev Major, man?
Oh man, this Kiev Major, we've had a couple of infos coming out of the past couple of days over when those open qualifiers are happening. It's going to be really interesting. I think it's the first CIS Major ever. So we had the Boston Major back in December. Now we're going over to Kiev, and that should be a lot of fun. Generally, the CIS Majors, they have been coming out strong with their events, so I'm expecting a lot of good things from them. As far as the teams go, there's lots of different ways for these guys to qualify. We're still waiting for our direct invites as well as the closed qualifier invites. I have a couple of ideas on the teams that we're going to see from that one, but the open
I'd love to hear your
qualifiers.
predictions.
Oh, my predictions. I
Yeah,
mean, I
just
just
like-
watched a video with Nahaz, so I mean, clearly you have your EG and OG in there. Team Liquid's been looking really good. See, the thing is, the weird thing about Dota is right after the Boston Major, the 7.00 patch came out, which changed a lot of things about the game. We're still seeing a lot of our top teams being able to adapt pretty well for that, because that's generally what's going to entail having one of those top teams is being able to adapt to a patch. So, a huge gameplay change like 7.00 isn't going to mean so much for these guys, but they've still been putting in some good results. Like Team Liquid, they've won 2 LANs since that came out. OG, Digital Chaos, they've been doing a lot of good work as well. It's those ones on the fringe like Odd Phenom as well as Wings Gaming that a lot of people have questions about. And it'll be really interesting to see what Valve decide to end up doing, because this is also the first time that we have the South America as well as the CIS Open qualifiers individually. So those regions getting sort of a new chance by Valve to be able to prove themselves and show that they belong on the professional scene. And it's going to be interesting to see these regions in particular put under the microscope in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's going to be super fun. I can't wait to check that out. I know I'm super excited for the Kiev Major. I watched way too much Dota. No, of course there is a thing. I don't know. All right, let's go to CSGO because I'm still not sure how to pronounce this. Take it away, Cameron.
So right now, actually, it just started yesterday. It's all the way in Poland, so like the time zones really mess it up if you want to. Anyway, but it's IEM Katowice. The League of Legends just took place last week at IEM Katowice, and now it's CS:GO this week, and then StarCraft happened sometime in between those two. But yeah, so the first day started. Unfortunately, NA's lone chance of going for Optic Gaming are already out of the tournament. They went like 0-3 or something. But it's going to be a really interesting tournament. So that's going to happen partly because the finals are going to be a best of 5, and it's been a long time since we've seen that happen. So a lot of people are hoping for an Astralis Virtus Pro matchup at the very end, because at the E-League Major, that was probably one of the best. That best of 3 there at the final was probably one of the best series I know I've seen in a long time. And so seeing those two teams stack up once again, the exact same rosters on both teams, stack up once again, this time in a best of 5, could spell a really good final game. So I know a lot of people are polling for that, but it's also going to be interesting to see whether teams like Fnatic or can pull together now that they have the famous, like, I don't want to give them a name like Golden 5, but like back to the lineup that they had when they did that really great Fnatic streak before it became the SK era, or
Fnatic 5.
Sure, Fnatic 5. And now that FaZe have Nico, it's going to be interesting to see how a player who's finally out of what people called the mouse sports jail, can finally do. And so again, everyone keep watching that. It's really unfortunate that it's in Poland because the time zone's really like, I think the first games start at like 5 a.m. here in North America. And so like it's not something you can that's the worst time because it's not something you can stay up for, but it's not something you really want to wake up that early for either. But when you can catch a game or two that you want to watch, I definitely suggest doing it because competitive Counter-Strike is liquid gold. I think.
Hey, some CSGO in your coffee? That sounds pretty awesome. And let's throw it over to J-Mac. What's going on in Smite right now?
Pretty much the big thing going on right now is the Smite Pro League, the Smite Oceania Pro League as well. A little bit lesser known. They're kind of pushed off to the side because it's all the way in the Oceania region, Australia, New Zealand. But the big one right now is the Smite Pro League. As far as crazy things that have happened this season, the two-time world champions NRG Esports are not leading. In fact, they got 2-0'd and then went 1-1 and then finally got some wins.
Who 2-0'd them?
I can't, for the life of me, cannot remember which team 2-0'd them. I think it may have been Obey, who was the runner-up world champions. At the recent HRX, the High Res Expo World Championships, it was an EU showdown. It was Europe. NRG, former world champions, against Obey, who has had some people at LAN before. But now NRG no longer sitting at the top rankings. They're not the big powerhouses right now. They're actually showing that they are human, that they're not just a bunch of robots. On the North American side, Eager is still somewhat leading the brackets, leading the games going on there. Eager was the third place, tied up there with third and fourth place team with Luminosity, who are both up in the rankings right now for the North American side. Those teams didn't really have any roster changes going into the new season, and there really was no reason to. I'd say amongst the top four teams, none of them really need any form of roster swap. They're all strong players. Zapman still leading the Eager squad. He just wants to win Worlds. Like, that is Zapman's goal, is he wants to win Worlds. And after 3 years, he finally got to go to Worlds. It just wasn't quite enough for them. As probably most recent news that's happened is Enemy Esports has actually been dropped but picked up by United Esports. So they're under a new name, still the same team. In fact, they actually picked up Benji on their squad now. He got moved over to be back with Payne Devion and the guys there. So Enemy, same strong team, but under a new name, now under United. So they still have an E in their name. I mean, that's a good thing for them. They start with E, so it's going to be easy to remember those two. As far as the OPL goes, I'm not super sure on that just yet, although I do love watching the OPL on occasion when I get a chance. It's just they stream at like 3 in the morning here because it's all the way in Australia, New Zealand. So I usually have to catch a VOD for it or watch it on YouTube to see anything. But I believe the Dire Wolves are one of the strong teams going on right now. There's a lot of roster changes that happen throughout. And with the Latin America, the Chinese, and the Oceania teams, they do a lot of roster swapping in between seasons because obviously they're not quite up to the level of North America and Europe. But this last season was the first time that a North American or European team has lost to a lower, I guess you can say a lower division team. Oceania actually pulled out one win against Team Allegiance, but got shortly knocked out after that one. So rest in peace, Lich Esports. Although we did love watching your gameplay there. So as far as general Smite news, that's really about it for now. Patch 4.3 just came out, which introduced the new Capture the Flag mode, which I'm excited to go ahead and give that a try. No new god this time around. The newest god released was Kuzenbo, the king of the Kappas. So we finally
King Koopa.
Yes, he is essentially King Koopa. He's kind of like a little bit of Bowser in there, and I enjoy playing him. He may not be the greatest god, but he's a lot of fun to play, especially because you just get to throw around little Kappas all over the place. So we'll be seeing what kind of adjustments come with him, and we'll be seeing how the teams adjust to the newest installment in the patch, which pets, which in Smite, pets are basically anything that a god puts out onto the field that has HP of its own. A
Kind of like Scotty's Wolf?
Yeah, like Scotty's Wolf is a pet.
Okay.
Nua's minions are a pet. Backdoor protections, which is what prevents people from just being able to kill a tower immediately. Previously, anything that was considered HP besides a god allowed the backdoor protections to be shredded, which no longer made you do half damage to tower. That has been completely removed. Only the official minions in the game will remove backdoor protections. No more Nuwa split push, no more Scotty split push, no more of those shenanigans. They're gone. So we'll see how
that sounds like a good thing.
So we'll see how that affects the gods that were adjusted by this time around. Nuwa got a couple of buffs to kind of help with that, but we'll see how it goes on. So that's pretty much all for Smite news for now.
Perfect. All right, so that wraps up all our news around. Wow, you guys are freaking experts on this stuff. It's great to have you guys back, I gotta say. This has been super fun. Let's go to our featured streamer of the week. This is Mr. Master Pure Round. You can find him at Twitch TV, twitch.tv/MasterPureRound, PIERROUND, for those I'm not. Oh, you know what? They'll probably just show you on the stream. He's a Paladins player from Michigan State University, and he's really aiming to stream really consistently. Now I'm all over the place between his AVGL Paladins League matches, and so it's a great person to watch if you're kind of curious about Paladins, if you want to see how it goes. I know for me, I learned a lot about Dota from watching streamers and from watching pros. So this is a great place to learn about a new esport that's up and coming. So, there's not somebody who's defined as the best yet, so maybe it could be you if you learn to pick it up quick. I know our Mr. Pythian is kicking ass at it. He's already top 500 and you can't let him stay there. So you got to knock him out. So go check him out.
Metrics. I'm not going to say I'm like the best player or anything, but it's a fun game at least.
Hell yeah. So yeah, you can follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/MasterPureRound. All right, before we leave, we're going to go through the predictions and see what you guys think is going to be happening. I know it's very early in the league, so don't worry. We're not going to hold, your guys' hand to the Bible and be like, oh, you told us. So let's go ahead and start with Mr. J Mac Tucker. What do you see happening in the Smite League?
As far as the overall predictions, obviously, yes, it's still new. We haven't seen what a lot of the new teams have come out, but there are a lot of returning teams or partial returning teams, a lot of players in general just coming back. Going through each of the divisions really quickly, we have the Ragnarok Conference, which is the Norse and Egyptian divisions. Really, the two big standout teams that I see amongst here are Calvin College, formerly Delta Esports, and Ohio State University, which picked up a combine level player, not quite a pro level, but aiming for that point. They picked up Sheikah for their team, who is a very strong mid lane player. He's nuts. I mean, I've seen him throughout Smite Central, on High Res TV when they were showing the combine. So it's going to be crazy to see how he works with his new team, captained by Sidewinder. So as far as Norse division goes, I'm looking at Calvin College, looking at Ohio State. For the Egyptian division, I'm mostly looking at Stony Brook University. This is most of the members of formerly known as Team Way 2, Way Harder. Now under, unfortunately, Stony Brook because of the way that we do our stuff, but it was going to be Team Way 3, extension to be pending. They never came up with that final one, I don't think. Over in the Gaelic Conference, my big one, Salisbury University. They are going to be some of the heavy hitters. 4 members of the runner-ups last season, Nodes Gaming, 4 members of them are still amongst there. The only person they replaced was Mojo Cat, and they brought in Blaziken as their new jungler for that one. On the next side of that, Mojo Cat in the Mayan division leading St. Joseph's University. He's one of the big ones I'm looking at. Really in that division, it's a lot of lesser knowns people, a lot of new teams, a lot of new people in there. And just amongst what I've seen and who's in it, I'm really looking at St. Joseph's with that one by Mojo Cat. Over in the Yomi Conference, this is the Japanese division for this one, I'm mostly looking at Texas A&M University. They returned from last season. I believe it's all the same players. One more victim is still their captain. They didn't have the best performance last time around, but they also didn't have the easiest conference to go through. So over on that side as well, Virginia Polytech Institute, led by Captain Kraken KO. They had a fairly strong performance last season, but as well, we're not in the easiest of divisions to go against. I believe their 2 losses were to the top 2 teams in their division. Maybe they got a chance of being number 1 this time around. We'll see. In the Hindu division, Tarrant County College, the obvious stretch out there for me. Tarrant County College led by Puckham with his mid laner Cardiac has picked up 3 of the former champions in Data Remember, Fine OK, and Dingo Dial. Interesting thing to note about this, Data Remember is going for his 3rd straight season and his 3rd straight championship potential. So if Tarrant County College wins, we'll have our first 3-peat champion in the AVGL in Data Remember. Osoth was right there behind him, but nobody picked up Osoth this season, which is very unfortunate. I really would have loved to have seen him back there. One of my favorite solo laners to watch in all of Smite.
Oh, damn.
Lastly, down to our Olympus Conference, the Greek division. It's kind of up in the air. It's a lot of big name players in it's a strange division. It's a meme division. Probably the most recognizable team is University of Tennessee Orange, which I like to call literally the meme squad, as their leader is Pepe.
Oh, God.
They have a player named Rom who does not ever play Rom. They have a month of the year, August. They have the planet Earth. And then they have a couple of other people who don't have as trolly of names. But they're a fun team to watch just because we love making jokes about the team as we go through it. But we'll see who reigns supreme in the Greek division. In the Roman division, probably the biggest one that I'm looking at is going to be Civ 3's team in University of California, Santa Cruz. Also, maybe looking at Washington State University with Viper 196, runner-up in Season 1 of AVGL. Not quite the same team that he had then, but still coming back for his 3rd season, so we'll see how that one goes. That's really about it as far as the divisional power predictions that I got there. As the season gets closer and closer towards its ending, we can start maybe making top 4 and top 8 potentials.
That's awesome. Thanks for that very thorough recap. Holy cow. I know we're not as far along in any of the other leagues, but Cameron, do you see any strong performances coming up? Anything that you predict that we should keep an eye on?
I mean, it's only been, most teams have only played 1 game so far, if even. There's still a lot of teams play the first game, and so I'm not really going to give any sort of prediction of who looks strong or not based off what they've played so far. But I do know that there are multiple teams within this league that have been heavy hitters in other collegiate leagues as well, not just like AVGL from last year, as well as other ones that are currently running. And now that we have SJSU, who are kind of like the fallen gods, there's a void at the very top left to be filled. And so definitely the names that I can think of on the top of my head to look at are Montreal, RIT, RMU. I know there are a few others. What?
Sorry, RMU. It always reminds me of freaking Babe. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. And then Georgia Tech, which traditionally have really good teams, even though I know both teams have actually lost, not just the B team that we featured on our broadcast. Both teams have struggled in their first game, but that's still not a name you can necessarily kick out just yet. So those are definitely just some teams right off the bat to take a look at, but really it's kind of open for everyone, anyone to cement their place at the top of their division right now.
Well, yeah, it keeps it exciting. All right, Pythian Dota, what's it looking like?
Well, again, we are pretty early in the season, but I would like to keep it short and focus on 2 teams that I think have a really good chance as they get later into the matches in our regular season here. One of them is University of Illinois. They were runner-up, or no, they were champion last year because they had a bit of a story with CSL, if you remember, getting disqualified out of the playoffs and coming back in the AVGL to win that one over Michigan. But they've actually picked up a player from Michigan, I believe, T1E, who I've covered a little bit in some other leagues, and he's played as part of the meme regime, which is probably one of the best names out there for Dota 2. Has a lot of my friends on it, and he's been playing for them a little bit, and he is a fantastic mid laner. So I would expect some great things from them. They are definitely one of the top teams to watch. Also, a bit of a newcomer to the scene, University of Maryland. They've done well in the past, but we see a different lineup from them this season. And they also feature the winner of our 1v1 snowed in tournament for Dota 2 that we had earlier in January. So they have Zeus heading up their lineup, and he is a fantastic player, an international student, and it's a lot of fun to be able to watch him play. So hopefully we can see that over the next couple of weeks as well.
Wow, that sounds awesome. So we've got 3 very strong leagues, and don't forget about Paladins. I don't have any predictions for you because I'm not a Paladins caster, but we're going to have one of them on the show probably next week, and they'll give you the rundown on that. I know it's a new game, and so we have no idea really what's going to happen with it. So that's kind of exciting to see which rising stars are going to come out of Paladins. With that, do you guys have any final thoughts, any shout outs for anybody? Let's start with J-Mac.
I guess shout out to our Smite team, really more than anything else. The fellow commentators that we have on the squad are great, especially our backside admin, Choo Choo Train, probably one of the hardest working men I've ever seen in this entire crew. Glad that we brought him on board, as well as our production people for Smite. Jithens does a job. I'll leave it at he does a job.
I said, shout out, man. Shout out.
Yeah, I'm shouting him out. He does a job. I mean, that's how Zithens is. Really biggest shout out I want to throw is the throwback for Data Remember to come back in. I really want to see if Data Remember can get that three-peat. I've been, ever since he missed out his shot on the Pro League, just barely missed out his chance on that one. I've been rooting for him the entire way through.
Hell yeah. All right, Cameron, any final thoughts, any shout outs?
Thanks for having me on the show, and I'm glad to be back working here with AVGL, and as well as the rest of my own Counter-Strike crew here. First time I worked with a lot of these guys, and even the first broadcast went really well, and hoping that the next one's get even better.
Oh yes, and it's great to have you back, man. We love having you. All right, Pythian, how about you?
I have a couple things actually. So I want to bring a little bit of attention to this is a gaming talk show. So the Nintendo Switch is coming out on Friday. So obviously a lot of people are pretty excited for that. And Mario Kart is going to be coming out for that as well. So if you guys think you can take me on in that, I was pretty good on that game in the past. So maybe we could get some Mario Kart in there pretty soon. But also
Mario Kart, the new esport.
Oh
yeah,
No,
I'm AVGL Mario Kart.
No, I was thinking
The $1 billion
AVGL
tour
Arms.
show.
I was thinking AVGL Arms.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I'm ready to see some AVGL Arms up in here.
Shout out to all the teams for participating in our Dota 2 League and playing their matches week in and week out. They've really stepped up the competition, and I'm ready to see some good things from them. And just good luck to everybody in the AVGL. Everybody's working so hard. And again, I mean, J-Mac brought it up earlier, but I think this man deserves another shout. Mr. Train, oh my God, this guy is a freaking legend. He is the commissioner of the league, if you don't know, and he really does a butt ton of work on the back end. So again, special shout out to him. He's really doing a great job, and he's making things so much easier for you guys. It's ridiculous.
We love you, Chew.
We all do love Chew. He's like a train. He just never stops. He's like a train on a little bitty track.
Just
that goes
keeps
around
on
and around.
chugging.
He really
And, like,
doesn't.
He has the patience of a god handling us. So we big shout out to him. Shout out to Victor again for bringing the league back, and it's been really fun to kind of sit in Discord and just watch everything happening. And thanks again for bringing me back. I cannot tell you how much fun I have with the Aftermath. And with that, I think we're gonna wrap up. Thank you again for everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time on the AVGL Aftermath.